Hello and welcome to another episode of Nothing Definitive. I'm Sam Carlson, and today I want to talk about underestimating information, the amount of information. Okay, so think about yourself as a kid, like when you were younger, in middle school or high school. And I guess this won't really work if you're in middle school or high school right now. So if you're older, and you think back to those days, and then you think back to who you are right now, and think about how much smarter you are, right? You know so much more about the world. And when you were in middle school or high school, you thought, I really understand reality. I understand the world. You feel smart, right? And then, but now looking back, you go, whoa, I didn't know anything. This is so crazy. So you kind of think about how smart you are. You compare yourself to other people and that. Okay, so now imagine how much smarter you feel after you've read a really good book or an article on the web, or you watched a lecture on YouTube, or you had a really stimulating classroom experience where you learned a lot, or you were challenged at your job and you learned all this new stuff about your job, okay? And you come home and you feel like, wow, I feel just like I know so much more or whatever. Okay, now imagine that happened more often. What if that happened every day? What if you had been doing that every day for the past year that had been happening? Just think how much smarter you'd be right now, or how much smarter you'll be in a year. Um, and what I'm trying to say is that should bring up a very serious question in your mind, because I feel like from what I've seen, it's like people are learning through school because they're forced to or whatever. They kind of get like disillusioned or disenfranchised with the whole idea about learning. Like it becomes this boring thing you're supposed to do. And then, you feel like you have a comfortable adult level of knowledge after college. And then that's it. You kind of like you'll still learn throughout your life, but not at the pace that you used to. But you need to ask yourself, what would happen if I spent every day learning? I mean, there's got to be people out there, right, that are learning every single day. There are people out there whose job it is probably to think and think and think and figure things out. And then you think about, there are a lot of books out there, more than I could ever read in my life. The internet has more information than like I can't even get a percentage point of all the information on there. And that should bring up this question, like, how different would I be? How different would I look at the world if I knew all that information? And that's like so incredibly important, because the one of the problems with intelligence is that you only know how smart you are, not how smart you could be. You can't comprehend it because you don't have that information. If you took yourself a year from now and you were way smarter because you spent every day learning, you can't really comprehend what your mind would be like a year from now. You might think you're like, well, I know what it's like to be smart because I learned things in school and like I kind of figured out no, it's not like that at all. The level of understanding you could have for a year from now, based on like a lot of learning over that year, is just something that you can't put together in your mind, that you can't actually visualize or comprehend or anything. So with that in mind, look at just how much information is out there and seriously consider, should I be figuring this out? I mean, how different is the experience of really intelligent people? Maybe I'm really missing something. I mean, if you're ever asked, one red flag for this is if you ever sit down and you're like watching TV or watching a movie or listening to someone talk or something, and you're going, what are they talking about? Nah, they're just BSing. I don't really understand. Or you have these little questions in your head. Like, virtually everything, if not everything, in the universe has an answer. If we don't, I mean, there's stuff we don't know right now, but we will at some point. And if there's like, you're like, why did that politician say that? Or why did our government do that? Or why did my teacher say this? Or why did that person do this or that or whatever? Like, it seems like people just kind of drop it and say like, well, it's just like something we'll never know, or like men will never understand women will never understand men, blah blah blah. Bullshit. That is total BS. You can understand. There are answers. All that says is that there is information that you do not have in your mind. And if you think about just how much is out there, that should almost like scare you into saying, wow, I need to like get my ass in gear and start figuring these things out, because who knows how my perspective will change. Maybe I'm missing the most important things all around me. And that's what I want to talk about today. So I'm getting a phone call right now. Whoops. But yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. Thank you very much for listening, and see you next time.